Good evening. I'm Jane, a grateful recovering codependent, and I'll be one of your hosts tonight.
Good evening, and I'm Abby, and I'm also a recovering codependent and an adult child, and I will be your other host tonight. And Emily is handling our tech support, as she has been all along. Thank you, Emily. We want to welcome you to the Anatomy of the 12 Steps wrap-up session. The purpose of this group has been to examine each of the 12 steps in a basic way. This Zoom meeting is not affiliated with nor endorsed by any specific 12-step program. We know that the 12-step programs may have a different focus as reflected in their version of the 12 steps. However, we believe that regardless of which addiction or problem brought you into the various rooms of recovery, the solution is the same, the 12 steps. We believe that these steps are the core of our program. We don't believe that we are finished when we take them once. We believe they are a tool for everyday living. When we find ourselves disturbed, upset, or find someone or some situation unacceptable to us, these steps are one of our first tools, and many times they are the solution to our pain. Before we get started, a few reminders. Any 12-step material is accepted in this meeting, even though non-12-step information may benefit you personally. We ask that you not share it in this meeting. Please remember to keep your mic muted until you're ready to speak. Say thank you when you're done. And let's get started. Jane?
All right. I hope all of you had an opportunity to listen to Pat M's talk on sponsorship. The Anatomy of the 12 Steps was not intended as a replacement for having a sponsor or attending other meetings. We hope this study has better prepared you to work with a sponsor and or to be a better sponsor. Tonight, we really want to hear from all of you. We would like to know your thoughts and feelings about your experience with the study. We would also love to hear your comments and questions concerning finding a sponsor and being a sponsor. I would like to start us off by sharing my experience as a task force member. I have gained invaluable experience working with this amazing team, learning so much about working the steps and working with sponsees. When preparing to present a step, the depth of study and reflection required is dramatically magnified, leading to a much deeper understanding of the step. I am so grateful for this opportunity to grow and share with each one of you. When I first came into CODA after attending meetings for several months, I joined a 12-step study group. I definitely grew in my recovery studying the steps. By around the fourth step, I realized that I needed a sponsor. I chose one from that group, and I found it very helpful to talk to her about the steps and different life situations. When I attended the Hilton Head retreat about a year later, I heard Pat M's talk on sponsorship. I realized at that point it was time for me to choose another sponsor to work the steps one-on-one and dig deeper. She helped me to better understand the fourth step and really get to the root of my codependency. We used the 4-step chart that was presented in Anatomy of the 12 Steps. I am eternally grateful for the role that she has played in my recovery. Finding the right sponsor for me proved to be a wise decision. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to you, Abby.
So again, I'm still Abby, and I'm still a recovering codependent. And boy, I too have loved working on this course for the second year. We all deserve a big old self-hug. All of us showed up and made this anatomy of the 12 steps informative, enlightening, and engaging. And I felt like we had a rather consistent room for 13 weeks. And that's really a testament to a group of fellow minds sharing ideas, experiences, strengths, and hopes. We went through this program together, declaring it to be true. This is a we program. 12-step recovery programs are we programs. I believe this year's success was the beneficiary of last year's program and the fellowship that developed in those rooms. The soil of this fellowship is truly rich, and I thank all of you for your weekly shares as we asked our questions and we shared our answers. I hope that each of us can work our individual programs, and when we find our moments of connection and fellowship, cherish them, and remember that by replicating them through some sort of service work, you're paying homage to the hard work that you've done. Whatever sparks new joy of giving back and sharing, please do it. I look forward to crossing paths with all of you again sometime in the future. So Pat's video. I hope you take advantage and listen to it as often as possible. Each time I reconnect with something that is so true, relatable, and funny. The creation of this video itself is a wonderful practice for a 12th step. The information that is wrapped up in such a compassionate and trusting cadence hits home for me, sentence after sentence. Proof that there are those who have suffered and lived not only to recover, but to live a life worth living and carrying the message to others who still suffer. Each time I'm sought out for my opinion, I've noticed how much more precious it is than the unsolicited advice I'd been lobbying for years. When it was agreed that it was time for me to pay it forward, I practiced my program and by respecting myself and my sponsee by proclaiming that this was my first rodeo. This was the first time I had ever sponsored somebody, and I was hoping that we would grow together in this new relationship. Basically, I was honest with myself and my sponsee. It took a lot of the fear out of wondering if I was going to be the perfect sponsee, or even not offend, not step back into my codependent patterns. I always pledge to do my best with my sponsees and ask them to do the same. And I ask them if at any point they feel like they're not getting something from me, to please bring it to my attention and we'll discuss it, because as Pat said, it doesn't always work out. There's no point in spending time with something that's not going to benefit both parties, to be perfectly blunt. I mean, we're in this for our recovery as well as sharing the message. Sponsorship has provided me with real life opportunities to ignore my fear and applaud my courage, applaud my own progress as I see someone else who believes similar myths that I once did, and know that I might be able to help dispel some of those myths and sponsor progress for another. I am proof that the principles of recovery create programs that save lives. I am grateful that each time that I've had enough courage to take another first step, there have been all these shoulders for me to lean into. Again, thank you. I'm Abby. I'm a recovering codependent. Now I'll pass the baton back to Jane for, I guess, we're sharing guidelines?
That's right. Thank you, Abby. Before we open for sharing, we kindly ask you to please respect your fellow travelers by honoring our no crosstalk guidelines that you have received by email. Use only I statements when you share. We want to hear from you, your thoughts, your perceptions, challenges, and your feelings. Unmute yourself when sharing and state your name, how you identify, and where you are from. Please finish your share by saying thank you, so it is clear that you have ended. Because of the size of this group, we ask that you please keep your shares limited to a maximum of 2 to 3 minutes. Anyone can begin. Please remember to raise your digital hand so you can be brought into the conversation. If you are unable to raise your digital hand, please put a message in the chat box and one of us will try to get you into the conversation. If you are calling from a landline, send an email message to anatomy12steps2022@gmail.com and we'll try to get you into the discussion. So we're open for sharing, and I see that Emily, you have your hand raised.
I do. Hi, I'm Emily, codependent adult child, recovering adult child, and techie person. So I'm like to introduce my, of course, everybody's been saying, you know, I'm doing the recording. That's how I've been giving back. Oh gosh, I had all this stuff I was gonna say. So, I'm a recovering, sorry. I'm recovering codependent, all that stuff. Sorry, I'm getting nervous now. So I'm just thrilled to be part of this group, part of the task force and part of this. This is my first 12-step study, not only as a task force person, but also doing it, also going through it and working the 12 steps again. I finished my first 12 step with my sponsor, who's here tonight I finished it in like December, I think. And so it's been kind of cool to kind of go through it again with the larger group. And also this task force group, we all kind of leaned into each other and you know, our strengths are really showing, and we've all been through a lot together. You know, as task force members, we've kind of had to support each other in different ways, and we've also been through life together in like the last 4 months, and you know, celebrations and you know, some grief and stuff like that. But it's been really cool to have this, you know, automatic group of people, and I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed getting to know these folks. Everybody here is just really amazing and really great in their recovery. So if you're looking for a sponsor, if they're available, they're really strong in their recovery, and that's really been good for me as well. As far as when I got to the 12th step, my sponsor said, like within like a week or two after I finished my steps with my sponsor, she said, oh, by the way, would you like to be part of this task force? Because I enjoy video, I enjoy doing video, I enjoy doing editing. I have my own YouTube channel, and I was thrilled to be able to do something that I really get a kick out of. That's like my hobby that I can do for a recovery group. That to me is just fantastic. You know, I've had the opportunity to learn some video editing and some YouTube tricks that I didn't know before, that I might not have learned on my own YouTube because I wouldn't have had the opportunity to kind of make myself learn it. So that's been really cool. I've also learned my own skill, right? My own hobby has increased and has grown throughout this. And I've loved hearing everybody's responses and feedback and stories and shares. It's been incredible. And I've gone back myself while I'm editing and watched so many of your shares and just, you know, got hit with it all over again. That everybody here is just, all of you who have joined this group to watch and go through this 12-step study. Congratulate yourself. Huge, you know, virtual hugs to you guys. Maybe like an after party. Really be proud of yourself. I'm proud of all of you. I'm proud of myself. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm glad to have been a part of it with you, and I'm glad that you're a part of it with us. And thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Emily. Jen B.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen. I'm a recovering codependent and I'm an adult child. I just want to say how grateful I am for this whole program. I cannot imagine the amount of work you all have done to put this together. It has been amazing. I've really appreciated all of the shares and the stories that you've been willing to share with me and with us. It helped me to have the courage to share my story on another meeting just before this one. And, you know, I wanted to back out, but I didn't. And, you know, it was such a great experience. And I got some really good feedback, which it's always nice to hear that, you know, you were able to help somebody, and that's what I heard tonight. So I just want you all to know that you all help me every single day by putting this program together, by sharing your stories, by listening to me. You know, I'm just so grateful for this program. I can say that I wasn't able to make every meeting. I wasn't able to necessarily keep up with every single exercise, but I have all of it now. You know, it's all things that I didn't have before. And I give myself grace because I'm not perfect and I never will be. And I'm so okay with that now. I didn't used to be okay with that, but because of recovery, I am. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
Hi, everybody. My name's Nancy. I am a member of Al-Anon and CODA and ACA and from Indiana. And I just wanted to say that what I have appreciated most about this 12-step study is the way people are sharing from their hearts. There's been shares on this 12-step study that have touched me really deeply. And so, you know, I just want to say that I think a lot of the participants have really put their heart and soul into doing this and doing the steps. And I just want to say thanks very much for being here. That's all.
Thank you, Nancy. Pat, you're up.
All right, I'm going to turn on my video just long enough to wave my hand and say hello to everybody. I'm going to turn the video off because it keeps me from getting bumped off the meeting. But I am Pat. I am an adult child of an alcoholic. I try to go to Al-Anon meetings as well as CODA and ACA meetings. And since you've heard my tape, I don't know that there's a whole lot more I can say, but I absolutely adore this whole program because I have learned so much about me to the point of being comfortable in my own skin. And that's, to me, the goal of this program. This afternoon I was talking with someone and we were discussing, you know, when life throws you a curveball or life pops you upside the head with a 2x4. So sometimes I don't know how to react. But through these meetings, y'all have told me I don't have to do it fast. And I don't have to do it right now in so many of the circumstances. You know, I can always ask for a timeout, or I can say, that's very interesting. Let me think about that. I'll get back to you tomorrow or Tuesday, or I'll call you later or whatever. And then I can sit down and try, you know, to put together a response that I think might work. But remember, you know, what is it? Our sick minds can't fix our sick minds. For me, getting on the phone and calling, you know, Nancy or Vernell or Betty or, you know, anybody, you know, Abby, anybody on this meeting that I have gotten their phone numbers and can say, this is what is going on. This is the way I'm thinking about responding. You know, have you got any feedback for me? And sometimes they'll tell me things that, gosh, I never even thought about. Sometimes I was so tight and worried that I was going to say the right thing or do the right thing that I couldn't think clearly. So I love this program. I love all the steps, and I love sponsorship. I know there's a lot of sponsors out there that, as I think I've told y'all, you know, my sponsor said, don't you try to help anybody, you're too sick. And I would have carried the disease instead of carrying the message. I would not have carried the recovery concept because I would have wanted to fix them and give them advice and tell them what to do. And it just helps having other healthy people that I can call who sometimes will show me, you know, share with me the same stuff I've shared with them. But, you know, when you're all stressed, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. So this has been wonderful. I really appreciate you guys. And I hope we're all getting a lot of good phone numbers. So I encourage everybody, if you're willing to talk to other people, put your name in that chat room, put your phone number, you know, so that people can pick it up and I can pick it up too. And then when things go wrong, you know, I can call Barbara and say, Barbara, I need some help. I can't figure this out or whatever. So anyway, thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Pat. Maria, you're up, and then Amy, and then Barbara.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for all the people that are doing service and everybody that's task member or just by showing up. Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I just want to show my respect and my gratitude. When I was trying to do the homework and put the feedback, and I'm like, nothing's coming to my mind because I felt that this workshop, this reunions, meetings, however you want to call it, were so well planned. Everything from the homework to all of the members that were like doing service to the recording when like I have a thing that I have to miss one, and then I was able to be like, you know what, doesn't matter because I can go back to the meeting on a Thursday or Friday if I didn't have a chance to attend the personal meeting and still do the homework and listen to others. So it's definitely like brilliant. Like I have no feedback, to be quite honest, just to say thank you so much. This has changed my life, and I'm so grateful for everybody that the people that announced it on other meetings and the person that invited me. So grateful. Thank you so much. You've definitely changed my life, and I'll keep working the steps. I know I'm gonna keep working them, but this was the best introduction I could ever had of the 12 steps. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. Amy, you're up.
Hi, I'm Amy, codependent and adult child. I wanted to say thank you for everyone who's organized this. I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like legit no idea. I was just like, okay, step study, I need to figure this out. Let's just try. So it had been brought up in a meeting that I go to regularly on Tuesdays. So I had wanted to start and really had no idea what I was doing. And I like thinking about it as like an introduction to the steps and preparing you to work with a sponsor. Because I felt like at first I'd found someone to work through step 5 with me. She wasn't able to be a sponsor, but she was willing to sit with me and do step 5. But then due to life, you know, we didn't get a chance to finish. And so I felt like then I was like falling behind in this group. Because I was like, well, I'm not on the right space, but then I'm realizing also that's just my own expectations and, you know, my own stuff. So I like kind of viewing it as the preparation for working through. And I actually reached out to someone today to ask to be a sponsor. And, you know, if that doesn't work, that's okay. I can find someone else, but I'm like feeling ready to do that finally, knowing that that's kind of where I need to go next, because I think left to my own devices, I would still do my weekly group, but I don't think I would get to where I need to be and where I know I can be. So thank you for the group and everyone that's organized it. I also just thought the homework and the handouts were really thoughtful and well done. You know, I've been able to catch myself with like the daily inventory, like going through like, oh no, this is me caretaking. I'm going to step back from this and not do this. So I really appreciate it, especially that one handout has really like stuck with me, and I think I'm doing a decent job using that regularly. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And Barbara, you're up.
Hey, hi, everybody. I'm Barbara, recovering codependent and recovering adult child, and also attend some Al-Anon meetings. And just want to give shout outs and accolades to everyone who helped put this together. and who have attended as well. It has been very helpful and encouraging and inspirational to me. I feel like I have grown, I have learned a lot. I feel like I've healed in some areas. I had no idea either what to expect or what I was in for. And there were times when I didn't want to come or thought, I don't want to go because I didn't do all of my homework or something like that. But I'm grateful that I was able to show up as much as I was able to, because, each time I was here, it just made an impact in my life. And I will be forever grateful to have been a part of this journey with each of you. And I have a sponsor, and I'm so grateful to have a sponsor who lives in another state. As I, go through all of the things that I'm going through and the death of my daughter, it's been so helpful and therapeutic just to be able to share so many things with someone and not having to be concerned about them sharing, a lot of the personal stuff with someone else, and just to have someone that I feel that I can trust and be vulnerable with, and just to get things out of my head. Sometimes, with another person, it just it has just been so helpful for me. And I've been a sponsor in another 12-step program, but not in ACA as of yet. But again, I just want to say thank you so much. And I'm so grateful that you put some phone numbers out here. So when I can't reach my sponsor, I'll be able to reach out to some of you, and I'll put mine in there too. So feel free to reach out to me. And I love each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. And Betty, you're up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Betty Grace, and I am ACA, and AA, and also CODA. I've really gotten a lot out of this this session. I've done the steps before, but this time I have to say, I don't know what it was. I don't know, because I did it last year too, but this year it really made a big difference with me. I've gotten to know myself even better. In fact, this morning I had a conversation with my partner that I have never had before. I was able to open up with him about my childhood, and that's something I never did. And he was really shocked afterwards, and I felt so good afterwards because he didn't try to fix me, and he just listened, and it made me feel like finally I was heard, because we never had that kind of intimacy. I don't know, I just wouldn't allow it, I guess. I was just too fearful. Having stuffed my feelings for over 70 years, it was very hard for me to open up. And I think that's why it's taken me so long. Being in AA for 44 years and not getting it, I just didn't have the right sponsors. And then maybe I wasn't ready. I don't know. I don't want to blame anyone. But today I am very grateful for this. And I think maybe because I really participated more so this time than last year with the homework, with sharing with other people, opening up, like I just said. I also opened up with another fellow traveler, and it feels good. It's not as scary as I thought it would be, it feels good to have that trust finally, to feel a part of something, someone, it just feels really good. And I want to continue on. I was talking to someone on an earlier meeting, they have like a parking lot and they just talk. It was like only 8 of us. And I said, I have to live to be 100 because I have a lot of catching up to do. And maybe it won't take me that long, but I'm trying, you know, and I love this ACA. It's really opened me up. So I want to thank everybody who was a part of this. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty Grace. And I'm not totally sure about your name. Is that Renee? You're up next.
Yes, it's Renee. Sorry, I didn't realize
Okay.
I'd be up so soon. I haven't spoken in one of these meetings yet, but I didn't want to let the last meeting go by without thanking everyone for clearly all the work that's gone into this, and definitely resonate with a lot. And I have a sponsor now, so I'm going to work through things. I'm really not sure. I've always been okay with growth, and you know, if I know something's wrong, I'm okay to work towards growth or you know, being better. So I don't have a problem with that. I'm just not sure about the labeling of where I fit in if I'm CODA ACE. Well, I feel like if I label myself, I'll be leaving too many things out, maybe. I just want to be better in general. And I've already grown just by attending various meetings that my sponsor referred me to, and this Anatomy of the 12 Steps was very helpful, and I'm just grateful. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. And for those of you thinking about what you're going to say, I just wanted to remind everyone that there are quite a few people who have posted their phone numbers in the chat. So make sure and get phone numbers if you would like to look for a sponsor or just talk to a fellow traveler. And I see Kaya, you have your hand up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kaya. I'm an adult child. I live in North Carolina. I was invited to come to this meeting. I had started the steps with a sponsor, and I think I was on step 3, maybe, when the 12 Anatomy of the 12 Steps started. And I remember being really confused about how those two things were going to go together. And kept asking, like, are you sure I should be doing both of those at the same time? And the person that invited me was on the task force, and she really encouraged me to just come and take what I could from it and leave what didn't work. And I think that was great advice, because like someone else had said, I have all the videos now in my email, and as I go through the steps, I can always reference the different steps as I proceed through doing the steps with my sponsor. I'll say a couple things that really hit home for me about the overall process that I was so appreciative of was getting to hear an overview of step 8 and 9 before I got there, because it's intimidating, and it's something that really scared me about doing the 12 steps. And all I could really do was follow the instructions, which was just do the step you're on and try not to think about what was coming. But hearing steps 8 and 9 in this group, just all the different ideas, all the different ways that it can be worked, really dispelled the fear for me. And the other really big thing that I took away, just as an overview, from hearing from so many people with just, you know, decades of work in the program, was how many times you all have done the steps. People would talk about how they did it with a sponsor and it didn't go well, so they did it again with another sponsor and it got better, and then they did it again. And I think what I took away from all of that was that even though the language people use sometimes was that it didn't go well, what I heard, having this be my first time through the steps, was that sometimes it takes repetition for you to get to a place where you're gonna crack that portion of it for yourself. And it's going to open up for you. And sometimes it's going to be the 4th time or the 5th time. And I think that enabled me to have a little bit more grace for myself, that going through the 12 steps, my sponsor isn't like an all or nothing experience. I can allow myself to do as much as I feel capable of right now, and then I'll probably repeat them, just like everybody else has articulated in their story. So I'm like, well, if I didn't get it all, I'm sure I'll do it again. So I'll get it the next time, or the 3rd time, or the 4th time. And that kind of took the pressure off for me of feeling like I had to be perfectionistic about this first time with my sponsor. Because we would do like many weeks on a step, and I'd be like, I think there's more, like every time. So those were some really big takeaways for me, just to give my perspective to the task force on someone that was maybe in a different situation coming into it, and how it was so beneficial for me as well. And I'm so appreciative of all the work and being invited to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaya. Abby, I could hardly see your hand because of the background. It blended.
I noticed that. Thank you. I just wanted to kind of piggyback on the last share in particular, but really all of them, because it's so cool for me to hear something like, to hear all the fears that I had in my various stages of recovery, of looking at something and thinking, oh my God, I have to eat this entire elephant by next Saturday or by next Wednesday. And it's not that. It's this for me is a practice, and a practice means you practice. And when you practice, you get better. So that's one of the reasons that I love the fact that I will continue to do these steps over and over again. And I like being part of this particular program because it reminds me of what I feel about a certain step. And I love being able to look back and say, oh, I remember when I was afraid of that, or looking at these notes and I thought I had myself all figured out that year. Well, boy, 2018 was a real joke, wasn't it? No, the real joke was 2020 and 2021. But no, this has actually been a godsend for me, pandemic wise. But it warms my heart to hear that people are just, they're sharing and receiving and giving. And it's just, we are doing our steps, and look who's back from dinner. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Kendall.
Thank you, Abby.
Oops. Okay, I'm trying to lower my hand. Hey, everybody. I too am just excited that I got to participate in the Anatomy of the 12 Steps 2.0 version. And I was thrilled to have been included on the task force. And it's really helped me now that I'm really wanting to get back to work. I've been out of the workforce a while. Just being of service has helped me so much to get my thoughts organized, to start writing again, researching, talking, and then hearing everyone else's shares and how they're working the steps, and that there's always hope and that I'm not alone. And if I'm trying to figure things out too much, then I probably need to be doing step work or surrendering, or having more faith. But even if I'm stuck in trying to figure it out, that I have a family of recovery, a recovery family that I can turn to, one after the other if necessary. And my sponsor, who's been faithful and consistent and definitely lives this program. But I have so much hope that when I first came into these relationship recovery rooms 2.5 years ago, just a very broken, angry, confused, bereft person. And actually now I can be a little silly and I'm more animated and more active, and life's not perfect, but there is some joy, and it's not all hopeless. And it does come down to me having choices and then being active with those choices through the step work, realizing I can't change other people. I have to work on changing me. And at the steps, someone said a while back that it's like the hands on a clock. So once you reach 12, you just start all over again is step one. But I'm really, really glad I got to be a part of this. Thanks.
Thank you, Kendall. Vernell.
Hi, everybody. So glad to see you all on here tonight. As Pat said in her video, and I have always heard, if I want to learn something, I have to teach it. And being a part of this group has helped me tremendously, because when I have a step to work on, I do a lot of research and I just really learn so much more. So that has been a blessing. And I'm just grateful for you all for being here. And I do agree that this year, it felt a little different. Maybe last year, as the task force members know, we were building it from the ground up. And it got, to me, it just has gotten better this year. And and all the new people that have come in and the numbers of people. So I did want to say that I love what it says in the script that was read, and it's the same script that Ava and I used last week, that we know that 12-step programs may have a different focus as reflected. However, we believe that regardless of which addiction or problem brought you into the rooms of recovery, the solution is the 12 steps. So what I've learned is they don't have to be CODA. That was my main program. They don't have to be ACA. I just need to work them. Yes, I have worked my steps in CODA, the CODA way. I have worked them in ACA, and all of it's good. To me, it just builds. It builds and builds upon each other. And I do like the other part in the script that says, we believe that these steps are the core of our program. We don't believe we are finished when we take them once. We believe they are a tool for everyday living. And I so love the wording in that. So whoever came up with it, Jane, I think you guys did an awesome job on that. And for me, what I've learned in my 25 plus years, you know, my experience was I didn't have a sponsor for a long time. I did step study groups and I got a lot out of them. I did just like this group. I keep learning and growing each time. But then I got a sponsor and it was more in depth and I learned so much more. And then I did a lot of service work. Then I started sponsoring, and like Pat's video said, my recovery just boomed. You know, I just have learned so much from my sponsees. I have learned so much from having to step down at times. Just everything. And what I believe that, you know, I'm going to go ahead and call a name. Kaya mentioned that I can't absorb all of the wisdom and knowledge that this 12-step program has at once. It would flood me. It would flood me, and I wouldn't be able to get it. But I truly believe that my higher power gives me what I need when I'm supposed to get it and when I'm ready to receive it. Because if somebody would have told me some of the things 20-something years ago that I know today, I would have said, you're crazy. I'll never do that. I mean, I totally know that. So all along, my mind has been opening, and I believe minds are like parachutes. They function when open. But I appreciate each and every one of you and your shares, and task force. Wonderful to work with all of you guys. Thank you. I want to say one more thing. I also want to say that I appreciate this because this has given me some tools to work with my sponsees with. I share, you know, a lot of this work and the homework and the concepts and the ideas. And it has really been very, very, very good for me to do that. So thank you.
Thank you, Vernell. Kaya.
I do.
I
There,
think
now I'm unmuted.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one more thing to add since nobody else was going. I also found of particular value hearing from people at different number of years in their practice. I'm a mother, so I'll just use that as an analogy, but as when you're a mother of a newborn, sometimes it's nice to hear from other moms who have toddlers and also other moms who have kids that are in college. And so it was of real value to me, I want to say particularly, to hear from people that were only maybe 1 or 2 years into it, to hear some different perspectives. Because as I was working the steps, I felt like sometimes they related more to maybe immediate stumbling blocks that I was facing like right now, as opposed to some other forms of wisdom that I got from people that were 20 or 30 years down the road that could really see the big picture, which was also, you know, of huge value to me. But both of them played great parts for me in this program. And so I would say for the future to encourage that, maybe to have some people that are only maybe 1 year out, 2 years, 5 years, and 20 and 30 years, because I think they all have different perspectives in that journey that were really helpful to me in terms of trying to relate to where I am now, and give me a bit of hope that as wise as 30 years down the road sounds, sometimes it can be challenging to say, how do I get there from here? You know, 10 months in. And so that particularly, I think, at step 4, I remember someone sharing and saying, like, I did this step last year and here were some of my fears. And I was like, oh, those are right on with where I'm at right this second. So that spoke particularly to me because they had just completed. And so that was really helpful as well. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Kaya. Emily?
I also just wanted to share, in case somebody, if there's somebody new that's come in, since I put it at the top of the chat, this sponsorship video, I don't know if you were able to, hopefully that email made sense, that there's a link for the sponsors for Pat's sponsorship video in the description in step 12 video. And there's also a little thing that will pop out to the side. If you click on the little eye in the step 12 video, if you click on that, it'll take you to that video. And I just wanted to just share that with somebody. Thanks.
Thank you, Emily. That's a great reminder. And, you know, one thing that I'm really happy about this second time around is that we do have videos of every single step. So we can go back and review, or for anyone that missed a week, it's great to be able to go back. In addition to being able to access the sponsorship video on YouTube, of course, it is in the homework that Ava sent out. The link is in the homework that Ava sent out. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to it, you can find it that way as well. Ava.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ava. I'm ACA up here in Ontario, Canada, north of you. I'm still wearing a snuggly. I just kept hearing my name there, so I thought, oh, I'm going to say something. It was really interesting. I was very new last year as a participant in the first 12-step study group. And it was surprising and interesting to find myself this time around helping with it. And luckily I was able to kind of slot into an area that I'm comfortable with, doing kind of the admin, emailing and that type of thing. And it was a good experience to keep everything organized and to, you know, always try to be on top of things. I noticed twice now. I sent out the reminder today rather than Tuesday, which I was always trying to do the night before, but I don't think I missed, so I feel good about that. And it was just interesting to be in the task force meetings and seeing how we all work together, our various strengths and perspectives, and the respect. I really noticed that it was very respectful. I really like working. I like working with other people. I like working, and I like working with other people. And it can be a beautiful thing when, you know, I don't know to use terminology, when egos aren't on the ascendant, principles above personalities, that type of thing. It's beautiful because we all have something unique to give. And if we can find our spot where, you know, where our uniqueness is needed, it's a really good feeling. And so I was glad that I could contribute something that I felt, you know, that I had to give. Working with Vernell was very easy. Working with the task force was one thing, and then working with Vernell, the two of us on step 1 and 12 was really fluid. We didn't seem to really, you know, snag too much or stumble over each other too much. We seemed to flow really well together. And I certainly gave the new perspective, being only in for, I'm not good with time, for over a year, I guess. Yeah, well, yeah, definitely over a year. Let's say about 14 months. And so when I spoke, I was speaking from a new perspective on step 1 and on step 12. And I tried to be honest. I stumbled a bit with both. I thought about it afterwards. I thought, you know, I had those 2 words. Well, in step 12, it was 2 words, and in step 1, it was 1 word. And I was kind of underwhelmed by unmanageable and overwhelmed by spiritual awakening. So afterwards, I found that interesting. I thought, oh, it hit me both ways. And I had to adjust and come to terms with the steps as they're written and as I felt that I could interpret them for myself. So anyway, I just wanted to say hello and goodbye in a sense, but I'm sure we'll be running into each other across the Zoom platforms, which have been so helpful. I've really, not only for 12-step work, but just for a lot of things. I've done a lot of online learning and growing in my areas of interest. So anyway, thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Ava. I'm just going to say also, it has been a tremendous opportunity for me, and I know it is very true that the best way to learn is by teaching. I know that I was really nervous. This is stretching me beyond my comfort zone, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to stretch beyond my comfort zone. Also, being a sponsor, I was so afraid with the first time I agreed to be a sponsor, but I did learn so much from that opportunity, not only in thinking about how to sponsor, but also just in sharing my own experience. It deepened the truths that I had learned in working the steps initially with a sponsor. So anyone else before we close out? And if not, please feel free to share the concepts you heard tonight, but not who was here, so that we protect the anonymity of each person in the group. We ask you to please take what you need and leave the rest. We sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Your participation in this group and your openness to share your experience, strength, and hope. We would like to close with the ACA Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that one is me. Thank you.